Okay, good morning everyone. Steve's Place Down Under. Today we're going on a road trip to pick up something else I probably don't need. So this morning you can see it's still dark. It's about 5 a.m. in the morning, Saturday morning here. Taking the Kenworth and the little float again to a place north of here, up the north coast, mid-north coast, central coast we call it here. A place called Pete's Ridge, well around that area. So we've got to go past another weigh station, but last time we got pulled in I've still got the paperwork, so hopefully that'll help us get somewhere, because these trucks are hard to clear. They're not registered as heavy vehicles, they're registered as historic vehicles, and to get a defect cleared is well, it's a bit of a process, put it that way. So everything's been fixed since the last one. We've still got to go over a couple of lights. I ran out of time last night, but today Mick's coming with me. My wife came last time. Mick's probably not as attractive. He's there putting oil in, he's not as attractive, and there's probably not as much to do as we break down, but he's a very good help and a good mate, and he's good company. So he's coming for a run today. Hopefully he can hold the camera still enough for you all to enjoy that. And probably not the best looking machine, but it's all about the journey, not the destination. So let's check some lights over, run her up, and we'll head out. I don't really like running these trucks this hour of the morning because of the lights. I get a bit worried when they sit around in here. If there's any rats attack the wiring or anything, I like to leave it all that minimal and not working. But I think if we leave early, we told the bloke we'd be there at 7, it's only an hour, a bit over an hour's run. And the lights won't be running long anyway. So, and then when we get back, it'll give us the rest of the Saturday. So it'll be time for, probably even too early for a beer, but we'll probably have one. So hopefully around 11 o'clock we'll be back. So if we tiptoe our way through all the tractors here, we'll find her. How is she, Mick?
Yep.
So we'll run her up. While she's idling up, we've just a couple of tail lights. I've got picked for tail lights. These have got festoon globes in the trailer, and they were all working when we left, but the trouble is with those festoons, as many of you have dealt with and know, they shake themselves loose. So you try and tell that to the RMS, oh, they were working yesterday, officer. Well, it sounds fairly typical, but that is the case with those festoon globes. There's one out on the truck there, they're a bayonet fitting, so there'd be a 21 and a 5-watt double one, so we'll get her going and change that. Hopefully she starts up all right. She always does. Hook the batteries up. I haven't got night switches or isolators on these trucks. It all becomes an expense when you try and have a few of them. So I've got a butterfly wing on one of the terminals here, butterfly nut. It's not as easy to get off if something happens, but it's, touch wood, it's been good for the last 18 years I've had it or something. Okay, start her up, then we'll put the cover on. Turn all the lights on. There was no blinkers, was there? It was a brake or tail?
I don't know. You checked it on the truck, I can't remember. There was a brake on the trailer.
Up in there to turn them on. Got a fuse actually in the switch itself in these old girls. They haven't got a switch. They've got a relay panel but no switch. Circuit fuses. So the fuse itself was in the switch and it looked fine. It wasn't blown, but there was no power getting through when I put the multimeter on it, and it must have come unsoldered in one of the tin ends, which you just can't see. I put another one in, they fired straight up. So I'm just going to jackknife it to put, it's got a tail light out on the right side of the truck. Just want to interrupt this video while we're editing. I thought I'd like to add a few things now. A few of you heard I wanted a different truck to replace, not replace the Kenworth, but just something a bit quieter and more comfortable when my wife comes with me, just for these reconnaissance missions. So just so we can leave those trucks for the shows and not wear them out any more than they probably already are. So I'm going to put a photo up of a truck here. It's got to be 1994 or older to get this registration we use. It's got to be 30 years or older. So this truck I'm putting up here is an example of what I wanted. That'd be ideal, that exact one or that exact model. It's a 94 LTS 9000 Ford. It's got to have a turntable. There's a lot available at not bad prices, but they're all X-Tray trucks or something like that, and there's too long of a chassis. So I've got to get something with a preferably bogie drive and preferably with a table already on it, turntable already on it, or a fifth wheel, whatever you blokes call them over there. So something between 300 or 400 horsepower would be nice, and a manual transmission. So I'm going to put this photo in the corner here. If anyone knows of any of those, I haven't got a lot of money, so I can always say no if it's out of my league, but thanks in advance for forwarding those photos and comments either to Instagram or Facebook or even email. So and I want to give a shout out to these two wonderful blokes. Now, by the time you all watch this, I would have had these pair of blokes on the phone. I'm going to contact them this weekend. It's Saturday morning again. First of all, Matty's workshop. Now, Matty does a lot of, he doesn't do what I do, but he does a lot of machining on his lathe. He does a lot of that sort of work, machining stuff for subscribers, just people he knows. So, and he's got a great channel. I think he's self-taught from what I believe, but he goes really well on it. And he's just a wonderful bloke. He's just a gentleman, and he gave me a shout out in his last video, and I can't thank him enough because my subs went up over 300 just off him. So and then some of the comments that come through of it, they love Matty, and then they like what I do. So we're different content, but I still like supporting this Australian stuff. I think we've got a bit of a community going over here. I've already had a few Australian YouTubers on the phone, and this will add to 2 more of those this weekend, hopefully. And the other one, well, getting back to Matty, he's just gone through he had ear health issues, and it sounds like he's in remission now. He sounds like it's all going good, so good luck to him, and get over and have a look and tell him Steve sent you over there, because he's just a wonderful bloke. He doesn't do what I do, but it's still mechanical in a way, so check him out and support him, and it's just great that I like supporting these other Australian blokes. So. And the other one is Bruce in Oz. Now, a lot of you that watch me have probably already seen Bruce, because it's nearly identical content. I think he talks a bit less nonsense than me, but he's very switched on bloke. Both these blokes are older than me, but very switched on, and he knows he's got a good channel going, and he subs, he's just blown me out of the water. He's going really, really well. So you can get over and have a look at him if you haven't already seen him. Bruce in Oz, he's up in Queensland. I'm down south in New South Wales. So he's got a lot of wonderful things going there. He's a very knowledgeable bloke, and just a wonderful bloke with it. I've spoke to these two blokes on email and comments, but well, we've since exchanged numbers, and I'll be talking to him this Savo too. So if you can get over and support him, he's another Australian I really want to support, and there will be more. There's that mate of mine, Dave Willis, old rigs down under. There's Jake, who I don't know, with Diesel down under, and there's Pete Mate, which I've explained about Pete Mate before. I've had him on the phone a lot. We're becoming friends just through the phone. So if you can support any of those blokes, but particularly from this episode anyway, Bruce and Matty's workshop, that'd be amazing. borrow this winch off this bloke. It's a Chamberlain crane, ugly at the moment, but it's the same as a reverse one I've got at home, so very good for parts, or we'll get it going properly. Just trying to drag it off all those blocks. It's got a flat tyre, and it's now raining, so even if we do spend the time getting it going, it's not going to drive up them ramps, I don't think.
Just
try and shove her under a bit more.
yep.
Wetter and wetter up here. Tried to back it up, but that one of them ramps had dug into the ground like a big wedge, so and that counterweight is weighing in a little bit, and these ramps are steep, so it's a bit of a challenge. The truck won't pull it out of there, as you've seen. The wet grass doesn't help. And we'll get her. I'm not going home without it.
Yeah, those back wheels are getting closer to where they're going to be
Get
soon.
that back wheel on here, we can knock off.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I was telling Dale we move machines around at work.
Yep.
And if it's going to rain, it's always when you're luck.
Bit wet the other one. Take these mud guards in this weather. Love mud guards.
Just going to get out and check the chains. We just bounced her. Tried to settle her on them back roads. Now we're on the smoother freeway, I should say. We'll just check them all before we've got to go through the weigh station again. She's bounced off. That was tight. Look at that. Pretty good.
mile apart.
With a truck, is it?
Yeah.
That'll be that long, mate. I don't know where the fuck we are.
Coffee time. Oh, pies too, sausage rolls.
That's what we need.
I just remembered that.
Ah, a cup of coffee and maybe a couple of pies.
Well, we pulled up down the bottom of Hawkesbury here. Mick said there's a cup of coffee van there, and there certainly was. So we got a flat white and a pie and a sausage roll, which is down in the gully here. So now we've got to get it back up the top. So quick break here, then we're going about an hour to drive. So it's good. So we've just pulled over again at Mulgoa, my favourite shop up there, Mulgoa Cellars. And as most of you know, I haven't had a drink for a while now, but Mick's here with me, and he said, "Steve, you mind if we stop and get a few brown sandwiches?" So I said, all right. So we've got them. Oh, I don't know if you can see there, she's just sitting on the deck of the float there. We haven't got far to go, she won't bounce off. Then we'll get into them. Well, we made it home. 4 hours on the logbook. Probably didn't even have to fill it in, but when in doubt, fill it out, I suppose. So Mick's rather than help, he's just gone straight to the fridge. That's what he does. So I don't know what we're going to do, whether I'll leave her on there and change that tyre. It is heavy, but I could lift it off with the forklift, then we can actually drive it off. So we'll probably get the motor going this over. I'm not going to change the tyre, but we'll see if she kicks up in this episode, just to make it a bit more, just to bulk this episode up a bit. Depends on how much driving there was, how much footage I got of us loading and stuff. So I'll do an introduction. If it doesn't work out, I'll separate the episode. So I'll move the Massey Ferguson out of the shed and we'll back her in, get her in under the cover there, and we'll have a couple of beers and see if she'll kick up. Chase it with that bloody back wheel on that forklift.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it that way too, so we got
Pretty tight.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to help us, that bloody chain block, but we can still. I reckon we got to jack it high enough once we release the chains.
Should help too. Cheers.
I think we're going to end this episode here. I'll do an outro in a minute, and then you can all wait in suspense to see how she sounds for the following week. So, good morning. Right.
Yep.
Well, actually, we got the bonnet too. I'm not sure. Did you show him that? The bloke after we filmed.
No.
He had the bonnet and the grill in the shed, which is, it's worth just going and getting it for the tin work, because even if this is rubbish, which it won't be, it'll all fit the 6G, the crate. So, very happy with how it went. The truck went great. Weighbridge wasn't functioning. Fantastic. Oh, we're half deaf from that tunnel, but
Nothing a cold sandwich won't fix.
Might need more than one.
Alright everyone, hope you enjoyed that. As I said, it was a different cameraman. So I know some of you like that run, where'd we go? Down south last time, so hopefully this one's filmed fairly similar, which I think it was. So we're going to do a start up on it now. We're going to change that tyre, even though I said I wasn't going to. It's the sun's come out and it's sort of a bit better weather now too. So before I go, thank you to those Patreon blokes that their ongoing support is outstanding. The channel's grown a bit in the last few weeks. We're still only putting one out, of course I can't film enough, but we're going to try and put two. So you've seen the Albion video that's coming up. I mentioned we're going to start doing two, but that was going to be one. Then I found a problem with it and I've had to order parts, so we've slowed that down a little bit. But anyway, that is coming up. We'll do some shorts and we just really want to grow it. And remember to hit that like button and subscribe and leave a comment, because it all helps it grow. So it's not really taken off. It's going okay, but it hasn't really taken off yet. But anyway, thanks for all the ongoing support, and see you all in the next episode.